that city. We're going to talk to the governor, but we're going to hear from the governor, but we want to talk more about Mr. Valentine in just a moment. Let's listen to what the governor has to say.
Just recently, I spoke with the President of the United States. I've also been in communication with the Mayor of Baltimore, with the President of the Maryland Senate and the Speaker of the House. We're here in our Emergency Operations Command Center, which has now been activated. All state agencies are actively engaged in this situation. We've partnered with Baltimore City and all other agencies in Maryland, as well as neighboring states. This evening, as a result of the serious violence and looting, which has led to the destruction of property and put innocent Marylanders at significant risk, I have declared a state of emergency at the request of Baltimore City. This order deploys the Maryland National Guard in order to help restore order and to end the unrest that we witnessed today and tonight. I've not made this decision lightly. The National Guard represents a last resort in order to restore order. Look, people have the right to protest and express their frustration, but Baltimore City families deserve peace and safety in their communities. And these acts of violence and destruction of property cannot and will not be tolerated. I strongly condemn the actions of those who engaged in direct attacks against innocent civilians, businesses, and law enforcement officers. The resources of the state police and the National Guard have already been deployed in support of all law enforcement in the city. They will exercise disciplined restraint and provide the support necessary to ensure safety and to bring law and order to Baltimore City. We've got our entire team here. I'm going to turn the podium over here for a moment to Colonel William Palazzi, who's the superintendent of our state police, and then we will hear from General Linda Singh, and who's the Adjutant General of the Maryland National Guard, and also Clay Stamp, who is the Director of the Maryland Emergency Management Agency, where we are here tonight. So I'm going to start now with Colonel Palazzi of the State Police, and then we'll be happy to take your questions after everybody has spoken. Thank you.
Good evening. As the governor said, I'm Colonel William Palazzi, Superintendent of the State Police. And the governor's actions today are huge. We have been here, along with many of our allied law enforcement, over 500 strong, since Wednesday, working with the city of Baltimore in various capacities, helping to maintain as much order as possible. As you've seen, many groups continue to splinter and move around the city of Baltimore, looting, committing crimes in certain areas, setting places on fire. Our mission has been and will continue to be the preservation of life and the preservation of property. I have had conversations this evening with Commissioner Batts. He certainly understands the scope of what has happened and that we're coming in with additional forces to assist. The governor's statement of, or the declaration of the emergency order is big in that it allows us to branch out even further. We've already put out a request for up to 500 additional law enforcement from the state of Maryland regionally to come out and provide assistance, but through an EMAC request, which the NEMOC director will talk about in a little bit. We're putting out a request for up to 5,000 law enforcement from the regional area in the Mid-Atlantic to assist us as well. We are asking that they be equipped with the necessary equipment for their own personal safety, as well as to assist us in deploying things. Kind of a plan in the next few hours is to work with other local law enforcement leaders, kind of divide up the city into certain sectors, which we will then go sector by sector trying to protect, starting ideally with the hottest areas first, which we're waiting for that brief.